I was able to make $1,000 in one day by just taking graduation photos. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how I did it. 2020 was an interesting year to say the least, and during that time, there was a slight pandemic going on. Due to that pandemic, there weren't that many graduations going on, meaning there weren't that many grad photos happening. So last year, it was pretty slow as far as graduation photos. Fast forward to this year, things are opening back up, vaccines are out, and people are ready for their grad photos. So it was a great time to be a photographer and capitalize on graduation photos. So yes, the title of the video probably says how I made $1,000 by just taking grad photos, which is relative because if you're a high-end photographer, that might be very low to you. But if you're just starting out, that might seem pretty high. So just keep that in mind while you're watching this video. Everything is relative to who you are and how far you've gotten. So in this video, I just want to talk about how many shoots I did to hit that number, how long did it take to shoot, and what gear I was using for all of this, and what I would recommend for any other shooters out there. So let's go over the first one. How many shoots did I do in one day to get $1,000? Here's a hint. It was less than 6, but more than 4. 5. I did 5. 5 grad photos in one day, and boom. You get $1,000. These 5 shoots were a combination of referrals that I got from friends that I've already taken photos of and a booking platform called Snapper. If you don't know about Snapper, they're basically a booking platform that connects photographers with clients. Me as a photographer would go up there, sign up for their platform, list out all of my specialties and my portfolio. You as a client would go on to Snapper, look at the available photographers in your area, and book them based on what you like. It's a cool platform, but I have my dislikes about it. The main thing being that they take a huge cut out of the photographer's pay, but that will be in a future video. As for the referrals, I took grad photos of my friends last year. It's on my Instagram page. So anyone out there looking for grad photos now would just go on Instagram and type in hashtag grad photographer and mine would pop up. They'll see my work, DM me privately through Instagram, and boom, we set it up. That's my favorite way to get clients because one, there's no middleman, there's no one taking a cut. It's just easier, it's direct booking to booking. It's just easier. Word of mouth is definitely the best way to get clients in my opinion. Now, how much time did this whole day take? So 5 shoots in one day might seem like a lot, and it kind of was. So here's how my day went. I'm out of the house by 7:30 in the morning, go to my first shoot at 8 a.m. That shoot lasts for about 2 hours, and then my next shoot is at 10 a.m. Then that shoot lasts about another 2 hours, and then my next shoot's at 12 p.m. That shoot also goes on for about 2 hours, but then my next shoot after that is around 3:30. So I had a little break in between, went off, got some lunch in the city. That whole morning just flew by. You know how they say when you do what you love, it doesn't feel like you're working? I can attest to that because that morning flew by and I was just rolling with it and it was fun. It just went by very quickly. So 3:30 is our 4th shoot and then that goes on for about another 2 hours. Last shoot is around 5:30. That goes up to around 7 and boom. That's our 5th. So 5 shoots in one day is just nonstop, but it was fun. And you just get into a rhythm and then it just flows by. Now you're probably wondering, okay, you spent a whole day doing the photos. That's the easy part. Everybody knows that editing takes the longest. And you're right, but I've been doing this for a while. I got my own presets. I'm not going into Photoshop to do any retouching or anything. These are just standard graduation photos, make them look vibrant, something that the viewer will love. And here's an example so you can tell for yourself if they look good or not, but I personally do think they look good. I'm sure higher end photographers out there will charge more when they add in bonuses like skin retouching, smoothing, all that stuff, but you can get a majority of that done, like 90% of that done in Lightroom and make it look amazing to the point where your client is gonna love it. So as for editing, I would say for those 5 shoots, I got all that done the next day in about 2 to 4 hours, mainly because I've been doing this so many times, so I've gotten pretty good at it, and I'll just batch import them into Lightroom and just go through all of them at once. That's just me though. Your workflow may be different, maybe faster, maybe slower. All right, now let's talk about the gear that was used for this, because if you're watching this, you might be a photographer or videographer, and as we all know, we love our gear. First part, the camera body. I use the Sony a7 III. This is my go-to photography camera. I use it for portrait work, weddings, real estate, products. If I'm shooting a photo, I'm definitely going with the a7 III. This was the best hybrid camera during its time, and today it still really is really good. Also, since it was an all-day shoot, I did have a vertical grip, which really helped extend the battery life. I never had to change my batteries once, but I was able to go through the whole day with this setup. So if you're someone who's out all day shooting, highly recommend a vertical battery grip. It also makes the grip a lot easier to hold and makes you look more professional. not gonna lie. So what I used to do for my snapper bookings was only use a 24-70 because it was easier for me. In my mind, I was thinking, oh, snapper's taking a big cut. I don't feel like that deserves for me to use like my higher end glass, like my prime lenses. That being said, my 24-70 is a Sigma art lens 2.8, which is still a very sharp piece of glass, and the photos come out amazing. For any direct booking clients, I'll go prime lenses all the time, just because I feel the primes do look better and you get that lower aperture, which is what they really want. They just want that depth of field, that blurred background, the bokeh. So going to the first prime lens will be the Sony 20mm 1.8G lens. I love this lens. This lens is normally on the A7S III recording these YouTube videos, but I have the 24-70 on it right now just so I can show you what it looks like. Also, since I am shooting in broad daylight during the day throughout any times, I will have an ND filter on it, normally a variable ND filter, just so I can control the lighting a lot more. I highly recommend variable ND filters for any shooters out there that catch themselves out during the day, because noontime, bright daylight, right on the face sucks. And you can only crank your shutter speed so high to really compensate for it, but by having an ND filter, that really helps. Sunglasses for your cameras. The 20mm was really meant for any wide angle shots in case that the client wanted to show off the background wherever we were. It was also a good one to use for the classic cap toss shot. That way I didn't have to go too far back and I could really capture the environment. Mainly used for cap shots and if the background was cool. Moving on, we are going to the Sony 85mm 1.8. This is my favorite portrait lens of all time. It's very affordable. It's small. Like, look at that. It's a 1.8. You get that really nice background blur. Oh, I even threw on a black mist filter just to give it some dreamy look on my last shoot, and I think it came out great. It really smooths out the highlights and just gives it that glow. If you guys are looking for ways to spice up your images, look into these Pro Mist, Black Mist filters. They're called diffusion filters. A lot of brands have them, and they're not too expensive, like 50 to 80 bucks. Highly recommended. This was a great portrait lens. I still love it to this day, but after doing so many grad photos and grad shoots, I realized that I had to be pretty far away to get a full body shot of my subjects, and usually when they're all dressed up in their gown and stuff, they want to show off their heels and their full body. So this is great for like medium and up when I want to be close, but to get a full body, I gotta really step back, and it's hard to communicate with your subject at that point. What I started doing was move on to my next prime lens, which is this bad boy, the Sigma 50mm 1.4. So the funny thing is, I had this lens for a while and was always hesitant on using it because it's huge. Like, this thing is huge compared to my 85, and it's heavy, and the weight is what pulled me away from it, so it hasn't seen that much use. But since the 85 was causing me to go further away from my subject, I decided to give the 50 a chance. And after using it, I fell back in love. 50mm is that nifty 50, truest to what your eye sees. It looks good, period. I can go back farther away if I want a wide shot. I can go really tight to get a nice medium shot. And having that 1.4 aperture really helps with the background blur and gives it that really professional look where they see it, they're like, wow, this looks amazing. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. So I've mainly been using the 50mm Sigma 1.4 Art for a lot of my portraits now and my grad shoots. It's nice that I can be really close to them and still get amazing shots. Highly recommend a 50mm for that purpose. And that's pretty much it for all my gear. It's a pretty simple setup. If you were just starting out, you'll be fine with just the body and a 24-70. You'll be perfectly good with that. I think that when you start doing more of these shoots and get more clients, then you can upgrade your gear, get the primes, upgrade your quality. So key takeaways from this video. Can you make $1,000 in one day doing grad photos? Yeah, you can do that with really any type of photography. You can do that in real estate photography, food photography, fitness, sports, products. What I want for you to get out of this video is the fact that whatever your niche is, you are in charge of your prices. Master your craft so that people will reach out to you because they want to work with you, not to the point where you're starving because you have to hunt for new clients all the time. The thing I've noticed with freelance photographers, videographers, is that they're always worried about going full time because they're afraid they're not going to get the clientele to keep them afloat and stable. And the way I look at that is you need to build your portfolio, build a good clientele base, have good relationships with people, and if you hit all of those points, then the work will come to you. The money will find you as long as you're putting in the work to find it. Does that make sense? Maybe not put the work to find it, but put in the work to make it worth their while to find you. That makes more sense. As long as you're good at what you do and you're professional working with your clients, they'll come back, they'll refer you to others, and you're gonna get work, period. That's how it's done. Although I'm not the best and not the worst, I know that as long as I keep doing what I'm doing, getting better, working with more people, then I can attract more clientele, raise my prices, and make more money, because that's what we're here for. Just kidding. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. I hope it provided some type of value to you. If it did, then I would highly appreciate it if you like the video, comment any questions you have down below, and subscribe for the journey, because why not? Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.